This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I represent Bahamian people. I from Nassau, Bahamas, big up Baytown, bro. Where I from Baytown, bro. Right between West and Augusta, where them two roads meet, they call it Wilkinson Street. Manners and respect was like a sign blank check. It seems the ones that coming after quick to disrespect. You see, this life in the ghetto never easy. So many hungry days break till it grieve me. Way I doing the best I can, trying to turn my dollar to 100 grand. I represent the ghetto people.
Good night, Bahamas. And welcome to Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I am your host, Valentino, a.k.a. Scrooge, MP, JP, whatever you want to call me. I have been given this name over the course of my years being a community developer. I was a community leader, which I am, but now I'm a community developer because I'm taking up a notch. I know that you have to empower people now so that people can be able to deal with their issues instead of waiting on government and the church. I feel that we, as citizens of the country, have to provide those with an idea or a plan to go and execute it. And I think it's empowerment now, and that is my final stage in my journey. It's the last thing I'm giving to my community and country is to see how much I can empower as much people as I can and empower myself so that they can be able to deal with some of the responsibilities of rebuilding up the community with creative ideas as they continue their journey and they start to get empowered. They start to become 100s and 1000s. They would come up with creative ideas on how to deal with the social ills in their community respectively. Telephone numbers tonight are 323-6232, 325-4316, and 325-4259. And you can text us at 422-GR96. I just want to say to all the callers that call in on a regular basis, you guys do a very terrific job. We always be on one base and we explaining the frustration and what the country, what as we as citizens in the country are going through. So I just want to say thank you for listening in and calling in and just doing a wonderful job as to help contribute to topics that we have on this show to verify that we are on the right track, as to say, we putting the information out there that we know what we want and we are expecting the powers to be to listen and to actually implement some of the things that we require as citizens to improve the lives of the everyday citizens so that we can have a better Bahamas. Today, we're going to talk about, about Junkin was going to start, but we're going to just go back a little further on that and let's see how we have a little conversation with that. And then we talk about the recent fires that have been happening, I think Harbor Island, through Taylor Street where my cousin them resides, and then in Dunmore Street where I think a few houses was burned down. And I think lives were lost, and we would see how much is possible if they get the assistance from their representative, from the church, and then from community persons, and also from their family. But before we begin the show, I just want to give my condolences to my cousin them, to Woodside, through Wilson Street, off of A Street. My cousin Keegan Kevy, they're twins, and one of them passed away. Kevy passed away unexpectedly day before yesterday, and the community is real sad because we might not talk to one another every day, but we all grew up together and we are all family, and everyone in the community is feeling that right now. According to information received, he had a heart attack, and he, very young guy. I think twin is 45. He has a next twin, Keith. You normally see them two working together in the Wilson Street area. My condolences again. That's my family as well. So the condolences goes out to me as well. But the immediate family, like the brothers and sisters and stuff like that. My condolences, and my condolences also goes out to the residents of the community. Are sending out their heartfelt, their heartfelt, condolence, to the entire family, and what I want to say is just try to put closer to people who try to show kindness, because at the end of the day, when it all boils down, everyone is feeling the pinch in the community. I got stopped on the road so many times, and people were asking me what take place, and so we're all a tree. We're a tree, and we're leaves on the tree, and we just have to be able to support one another in time of need. So I just want to send out that condolences to the Woodside family. I want to begin the show today to talk about recent fires that have been happening around the country. And, there's a lot going on with the political scene in the country, with the governance of the country. And one of the reasons I got the show on Guardian Radio was I always felt that the young people were being targeted because, we were at-risk young kids, our parents came out of the drug era. They were on drugs, and we inherited. Like I say, I'm a drug baby because my mom was on drugs, and my father was in prison. And many people would say, well, I know excuse for how your life turning out. Everyone has a decision to make. Well, for many of you, if you look at our country's crime problem that we're facing, you can see it all ties into the drug era. And before that, we had the rum era in our country. And then, we were battling at that same time. We must also remember we were under the British rule, and we were looking for a better way of life in this country. So our forefathers and our foremothers, were community-minded, but they were not educated in the arts of how the law runs in London and England. We call it London, England. So we were able to say to ourselves, let's pool together our resources and send some of our kids away to go learn the way of the British, of the law, and how to be a politician and lawyers as well, so that they could come back home here and start a peaceful revolution. And we started out with the Progressive Liberal Party. In doing so, a few gentlemen got elected, and they continued their journey to push the idea of having a one black government in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, so that we could tend to try turn around the tide now, because we're saying the British were holding all the high position as Commissioner of Police, Premier, Governor General, all the top positions, the teachers and the lawyers and whatever profession it was in the country. And we were meant just to be dishwashers, sweepers, maids, and we were tired of that. And we decided to pull our resources together, and we sent many educated, many poor, uneducated Bahamians who were able to get the proper education, which was provided by each and every one of the communities that this revolution started. You got people from Mason Addition, you get people from Forks Hill, you get people from Grandstand, you get people from Baintown, community leaders who the streets are named after. So when you're walking on these streets and you look at these streets signs and you're wondering, well, what the name is? Well, that's an individual who helped got rid of the British government and helped bring in a new government and a new way of thinking and a new empowerment. And we were able to succeed in that venue. We got independent. We got an independent, be the first prime minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And many people profited off of this new change in the country. And I'd say 15 years after that, government get elected, election, and many people just went in there to fill their hands and friends, lovers, and whatever we call it, talking about the party thing. Now, we are here 51 years, like Mr. Thompson said, and I can't say how many days, but Mr. Thompson from Global, he is a very, very educated man, and he is a man of principle. But anyway, the fires, and many people went on to go get prosperous. So I was trying to tell a little something to get to the sweet part. So we're having discussions now on major issues in the country. So in Dunmore Street, if I'm correct, listening to the news, if I'm correct, it is reported that families living in the yard, but family friend or family member living somewhere in the yard who did not have proper electricity. And according to the report, the fire started from a candle, a candle, people. A candle. I mean, this 2024, and people so poor that, people so poor that they're losing their house and all their belongings because they don't have no electricity. The young 12-year-old in the Carmichael Road area, and as the outgoing commissioner stated, that after the pastor called into the station, and the police did respond, that when they went to the area, that the area was so dark that you couldn't even see a hand in front of your face. And then when you look at the parents and step-parents of the young 12-year-old, and then you look at the house, and you look at the directory of the house, all around the house is just pure, just no bush, higher than the structure of the house. There's no light, no lampposts, no nothing. All right? And not to say something to be scorning people. This is not about scorning people. This is explaining to powers to be and those who are listening what the Bahamian people are going through in this so-called democracy, in this so-called one of the richest Caribbean countries in the world, with approximately 400,000+ persons residing in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, but worldwide we got but 1 million or 1 point some Bahamians who have ties to the Bahamas or families from the Bahamas, and they just travel and they never return. What you said, the extended family, right? And then, like I said, you look at this little girl house, and then you can see that even in that house, there was no light. Now, it's no one's responsibility if people fail to go there and work or find opportunities. People might say, well, that's our business, or That's their business because they get candle in their house. Well, I go on there and I wake from as a 12-year-old and I wake and I get everything I want and blah blah this and blah blah that. That is true, but not everyone is in the position and is fortunate as you. You're people who willing to work, who willing to have an opportunity to go there and do the same stuff that you want to do and what you are doing, but they just don't have the connection. They just in a sad state of mind. But looking at the host, you could see the little girl with a host didn't have no light at all. So you're trying to tell me we can't measure this? You're trying to tell me our leaders, I don't care if you're on the PLP, the FNM, the church leaders, or whoever you are in the country, you're trying to tell me that we shouldn't look at that, just a candle, and say, my God, all this could be prevented if we were able to assist in some type of way or some type of how, And then let me go to Dunmore Street, where I think a person lost their life, if I'm correct, or their belongings. Completely destroyed. The family is without roof over their head. They have lost all of their belongings, like I said, and started off one candle for someone living in the back. One candle. Then my cousin them through Taylor Street, the Murphys, they have brands and stuff like that. Then my cousin, I have my hands full, and I hope that if someone wants to help them, you could get in contact with Salem Union Baptist Church, because their house is close to Salem Baptist Church on Taylor Street. So if you want to help or assist, with plywood, some nails, shingles, whatever you can, provide or assist with, it'll be greatly appreciated. And in their incidents, their house got damaged as well, but the fire didn't start from there. It started from in the back of my friend where we go to buy breakfast from, Penny. And the fire spread to Penny house and then spread to Mark's house and then spread to my cousin Murphy the house. And now, all of them now need some place to stay. They stay in some place now. So I'm guessing Salem Union Baptist Church is helping them. I'm guessing the local minister, Mr. Watson, his hands is full. But I think in a time of need like this, I know that he will give us support no matter what to see how he can help those individuals. Because these two fires are actually in this community, being in Grandstand area. And a candle. It's crazy. To show you what the Bahamian people are going through in the country. And then when we look at what's going on to the very top, and then we're looking at the expenditure of government of $30 million, a month, up from last time this year. And we're trying to find out where this money is going, because we are people who don't have light and buying candle. Now, it's nothing to be ashamed about. Like I said, people, listen, some people have tried so long to do good and find work and empower themselves, but if everyone poor in this respective community, and you're stuck in a mindset, unless someone come to creative and come there to bring an idea and make it come to fruition that could start to grow and develop in the minds of the individuals in the community, so that they could again have a breath of fresh air, so that they could have the inspiration to go there and try to start a small business, or to go there and not give up. A lot of people have given up in this country. Just giving up. And then I just create something here. There's a fire happened a few days ago. This is Monday, December 9th. And this happened here in Harbor Island. And they're saying, a cloud of sadness and gratitude lingers over several families in Harper Island that lost their homes to a blaze on Thursday night, including 84-year-old Vincent Clare, Sr., who watched his home of more than 50 years burn to the ground. Frustrated residents urged that the fire could have been contained if the island had a reliable water supply. Water shortage has been a recurrent issue on the island for years. So I like to say to the residents of Harper Island, you go to the polls, you vote, you electric it, and you you put your X where you feel what is right. Some might be political because you want to be a PLP or an F&M for the rest of your life, and you're not seeing the bigger picture. Or some just would do it because they're looking at what the government is doing, like how people are saying right now that the Davis administration was doing fairly well up to this point when it comes to this corruption. They were doing fairly well. So people now use their discretion to say, if they don't see no kind of justice when it deals with these indictment and these government officials who are being accused, if it's true. But we have the U.S. has our own former police officers, ASP, I think Defense Force officer, and another officer in custody who are awaiting trial on charges of smuggling drugs and firearms and other related charges in the U.S. So, boy, it's crazy. So, like I said, in the U.S., so with all this going on, we could when we do go to the polls, because like people, like I was saying earlier, people saying they'd vote based on that, and this is talks all around national Providence, okay? Because people right now want a different way of governance. They want a government that is going to focus more on the people and the people's issue. You can't believe an island like Harbor Island, which is one of the most beautiful places in the Bahamas with pink sand, claiming lack of water. I would say to the residents that when you're going to vote, right, come up with a 10-point plan and say, well, we need a water system here. We need a solar system here. We need a garbage collection system here. So that you could get together as a team and say, this is what we would require you to implement this is what we vote for you for, and if you get elected, we'd like to see you make these things happen. So as citizens and electorates, we have to be able to say what we want from our representative. Because it's impossible for all the homes to burn down in Eleuthera. And then I saw a businessman, I can't remember his name, I would like to give a thumbs up to him. He was able to go and purchase a fire truck with his own money. So I'm also encouraging citizens, some of you have become successful citizens in the country and live in these communities. Instead of you talking about the problem, you could solve some of these problems, It wouldn't take, if you get millions or $100,000 or something like that, you ain't gonna take all this to your grave. So we be complaining about government all the time. Government ain't doing this and government ain't doing that, but what you doing? You see? So this man made a difference. He went and he bought a fire truck for the community. Now he's not even saying the fire truck is my own. See, that's a person who thinking he's a nationalist. Now he could be a part of a political party, but he's a nationalist. And he see that the house is burning down, actually people in his community, people who he know, who he grew up with, and people probably he made money off. So the least you can do is give back something. So now they don't have to worry about if there's a fire and have to go and wait, or there's no water supply, or government ain't have no system in place. They have the resources now to go and protect the citizens in that community. And that's what a lot of us is going to have to do in our respective communities. Okay? So, yeah, and that's why I say, the Davis administration has 2 more years left in their term. And like I said, first 3 years, economy-wise, doing business, Chester Cooper, Deputy Prime Minister Brave Davis have done extensive investments and brought extensive investments to the Bahamas. Hotel, we're talking about development in their respective communities. We're talking also about Freeport. Some deals have not been finalized as yet. They have done partnerships, signed contracts with many of the cruise ship industries in this part of the Western Hemisphere. Last year, we had a record 9.7 million visitors that visited our shore. We made about, according to the Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, we made but $5.7 billion off the tourism industry alone last year. This year's project to increase to about, they're saying anywhere between 11 to 12 million visitors that will come to our shores. So, in those aspects, the government itself has done major investment. But when it comes to saying things of utmost importance, right? Like, for instance, the same with our Royal Bahamas Police Force. There are many incidents in there that the general public out there wanted a response from the Commissioner of Police and to the Honorable Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Now, the Prime Minister has not been involved in no illegal activities that we know about since he took his tenure as the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, right? But people around him in government departments have come under criminal investigation. And the Prime Minister takes a lot of pictures with some individuals. Now, he's doing that to be a cheerful or gesture person. But you get many people who are part of the organization wanting to meet the Prime Minister has a dark checkered past, not knowing to him. Some incidents he might know and might not know. But just like with the incidents now with the JCNP, and this incident concerning Jonkanu, his brother is with the next part of the valley. And like I say, this could be a coincidence. Now, this is not planned or staged, but I listened to the minister, what's his name is? But anyway, and he said that, the Prime Minister did not interfere. But you see, like, every time we look, it's something to do with the Prime Minister. He's taking a picture, or he's yet a response on the Johnson allocation. He is slow to act on the FBI investigation, saying he didn't know. So all these things, like, for us as citizens, we've been saying some of these things for many years now. We've seen all these things come to light. So for us, we speculating, and our speculating to us now is completely correct. You understand? But what we're looking for, a greater response from the government, greater response from the Prime Minister, a greater response from the Minister of National Security, a greater response from the Commissioner of Police. And one of the response many people want to ask is that, the Commissioner of Police, outgoing Commissioner of Police, still is Commissioner, probably trying to ram over next year, Shantia Knowles, is he admit after the indictment that, the force, has corruption in it. But like I said again, he never stated none of these comments while he served as Commissioner of Police. But now he's leaving office and the investigation going on with the U.S. and they've charged their suspects who are now in federal custody. And you know, the FBI will do a 10-year investigation, and they'll let you kill somebody, knowing you killed the person, but they want to make sure that they have the DNA. They want to make sure they have the DNA. They want to make sure they have camera footage. They want to make sure they have witness, not only with human witness, they want camera witness so that make sure there's no technicality on you winning this case. It's 95% chance when you go to the New York court that you're going to win your case. So in that, many people are asking the commissioner and the government to explain to us what kind of corruption was going on in the police force under your tenure or the minister administration or before that. Okay? So people want those kind of questions, and we're not getting those, and that's why people say they would vote against the government just based on these particular matters. And then the strange thing about it is why when the commissioner of police, he gave his national address, which I think it's supposed to be either the prime minister giving a national address because it's a national issue. So that's where the political stance came in, and many people did disapprove of that. But in that, it was a good thing he did it because he contradicted himself so many times in that interview. Because in that interview, he stated it again, like I said, in that interview, he stated, don't call no one name, right? Because he don't want no one to scrutinize no one name, ask people, what you call it now, when people say malice things against you, like what the judge just got a ruling on, and was able to send 2 persons to jail because they were harassing the judge, right? Couple accused of harassing Judge Jail, and etc. And again, we read through the lines. So we only responding to what was said, and that's why we're having this discussion, because we want them to know that we know what's going on. You can't say something and we're not going to analyze it and see that you're telling a lie. So he stated that, don't call no one name, blah, blah, blah. And then he stated he would question the former prime minister, former commissioner of police, and the former minister of national security. So now, here we go now. That's why you tell the truth with these political parties and see that we as citizens were saying that these things was happening in the country, but we never had no proof or no evidence. But leave it up to God. He brings the light. So now here we have, in response to the commissioner saying that now, Marvin Dames, former prime minister, responded. And Marvin Dames said that he can travel to the U.S., but he says some people cannot, right? And he said that none of this investigation was going on under his watch, if I'm correct. And then the former prime minister, he responded, and he said that from 2017 or something like that, he stated that he got intelligence. And he also stated that's one of the reasons he acted in the manner he acted, stating that the assistant commissioner, Evo, I think Fernando around that time was probably assistant commissioner, superintendent of police, right? Well, that's why he put them on leave and another officer, based on the fact that he had evidence from the proper authority, means the U.S. government, concerning specific individuals in the country who they feel, is not fit to be in the position they are, according to the in between the line. And then when he said that, the minister, the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party, Fred Mitchell, responded. And he responded and said that was a bunch of ludicrous what the minister was saying. But he also stated that we need the question minutes because if he got information from the FBI that there was some type of corruption going on with the Royal Bahamas Police Force, how come he didn't act? How come no one was brought up on the charges on the administration concerning this allegation made by the information he received from the FBI? Because we must remember now, the opposition is stating that, and the country is stating that the government of the Bahamas, means the Prime Minister, Chief of Police, Fernanda, didn't know about this investigation that was ongoing with certain individuals of high ranking of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And like they were shocked to see the turn of events. So it makes you think, right? This minister also knew about the corruption on the Royal Bahamas Police Force with certain individual police officers. Now, it's not all the police officers on the Royal Bahamas Police Force. We understand that. But right now, this one or two or three or four or five or six or seven has actually put us on the international scene. So it is bigger than the good cops, right? Like I said, it put us on the international scene. And if he didn't know these things and he put these officers on leave, don't you think he should do something even more as the Prime Minister, knowing that the U.S. is making allegations of senior police officers on this watch as the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? So it's like a back and forth, right? But the fact remains that 2023, 2024, the government of the country is the Progressive Liberal Party, and the rest happened under them. Now, it could extend from the F&M government and the PLB government before that, because both governments we would change the government in the last every 5 years, so it's tit for tat. So we'd say in the last 20, 30 years, we've been going one shot and that's it, right? So it goes to say that the general public out there, when we were sitting on and talking about these things, red license plate, when we're talking about officers on some of these murder scenes where it was indicated that certain officers were planting handguns, when we're talking about abuse in the station, when we talk about abusive language we're getting from our own brothers and sisters in uniform, and there's basically nothing we can do about it, because if we want to go and report an officer, we have to go to SIB by police headquarters, and then it's like you don't have no jurisdiction, and we are all our brothers keepers in this country. So it's very, very disturbing, the turn of events that are happening in our country today. Very disturbing. And like I said, the Progressive Liberal Party can redeem themselves, but the BME people want a lot of answers. We heard the Prime Minister said that he sent a letter to the United States of America, the embassy, where he heard them saying that, if they give out the name and anyone is on that list, he would extradite them, whether it's a sitting politician, whether it's the suspects who are on this list. He said that he would extradite them. And many people feel that he was forced in this position because he did not do it, and he didn't do it willingly, He did it because officers were caught on American soil where the Bahamas government has no jurisdiction. our laws don't apply over there. Far as far as I'm concerned, ASP Curtis and those defense force officers, the only thing they're doing now is probably to get a plea deal because Trump is saying now that when he comes in office, he is looking to give drug smugglers and human smugglers the death penalty or life in prison. So those officers back against the wall, so they didn't squeal, and information was given out just like when criminal investigation department questioned individuals in Arsenal Providence concerning murder, and then they hold a suspect, and either they tell him, boy, we got you, you need to give us something, we reduce your time, because we don't need your confession, because the U.S. don't even need no confession from Curtis. They don't need no information from them. They just say, we get you, right? We get all the evidence, we get the recordings, we get the drugs, we get the plane, we get from 2020, whatever. We don't need nothing from you. Now it's up to you. You're looking at this. You know, you're not in the Bahamas. You're looking at anywhere from 25, 50 to 1,000 years, right? But if you give us some information on how this operation go, we're looking to give you a little 10 or in 15 years. So what you think they could do, people? Huh? So what you think they could do? So again, people feel that is the reason why the Prime Minister himself has actually said those comments. Because like I said, they have them in the U.S. The Bahamas don't have no jurisdiction in the U.S. and we never will have no jurisdiction in the U.S. because they're a superpower. We're just a Caribbean country. And the Prime Minister state that, he opposed corruption and that it is an embarrassment, right? But it's not us who is embarrassing the nation not to be Yemen citizens. A few be Yemen citizens, but it's the people who have the power to, I guess, do what they want, but they just can't do it as long as they want. And there's a God, and you could do wickedness for a long time. But if you don't stop and don't change your ways, that's one of the reasons I stopped doing the stuff I was doing, because I know I want to make it. I know I want to spend life in prison. I know I would get killed on the streets. I know that I would have a family. I know that I would end up turning a bum. And then if I go to jail, I'd be spending serious time in jail. So I'm looking at 25 years in jail. A young man like me go to jail at a young age of 25, 26, or younger than that. I turn sissy. And I ain't like no man. So I had choices to make. You understand? That's what happened, people. That's what I had to think about after I been doing my foolishness for a little while. Then I realized what I was doing was wrong in some aspect of it. And then it changed my life around. Now you can't even get me to run a red light. You understand? That's a serious life changes an individual who open up his heart to God. We're going to take this call on Guardian Radio. Good night, you're on Inside in the City.
Hey, Scrooge.
Hey, good night.
Sparky here.
Hey, what's up?
Wait, you ready for Junkanoo?
Yes.
Oh, it's canceled.
No, it's not canceled.
Hey, Scrooge, how somebody could fix their head to even think about canceling Junkanoo?
Well,
I'm 73 years old, and I never seen one Junkanoo cancel in my life. Somebody really... What days we smoking or drinking, man? Junkanoo canceled. All them tourists coming to this country to see Junkanoo, and all from all over the world and things. Somebody told me canceling Junkanoo. Somebody sick. But anyway, Scrooge, let me put something to you.
go ahead, sir.
Let me put something to you, Scrooge.
Go ahead, sir, listening.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear.
Scrooge,
Yes, sir.
think about the police force from way back. Like I tell you, I'm 73 years old.
Yes, sir.
I had one uncle, we used to call him Uncle Albert Miller.
Mm-hmm.
But he was actually uncle to my cousins, them, because his wife was married to my cousins, them. sister, mother's sister. So everybody know Uncle Albert Miller.
Yes.
He was supposed to be made commissioner of police for the Mounted Police Force way back
Yes, sir.
when we were children. But apparently they changed their mind and didn't make Uncle Albert Miller commissioner of police. I think they brought in Sir late Jill Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, but remember, we had this thing between New Providence and Grand Bahama. With the Grand Bahama Port Authority and the big shots who run Freeport. So Uncle Albert them used to deal with the people who own Freeport.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the name is, so something. George who?
Call I come to you soon as Sparky finish.
St. George and them.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when they didn't make Uncle Albert commissioner of police, and they made Sir Lady Thompson commissioner of police, Uncle Albert resigned from the police force, and he went to Freeport. And Sir George then made Uncle Albert president of the Port Authority. The whole Miller family moved to Freeport.
Yes, sir.
Albert Miller became the president of the Port Authority in Freeport, and Sir Albert Miller was an animal.
Oh.
And now, remember, all his children and them grew up in Maine.
Yes, sir.
So this time when they go into Freeport, Uncle Albert Miller, son and them, who went to school with me,
Yes, sir.
welcome Sparky to Millerstown. I say, Tony, what you talking about? This we town now. I said, Tony, what you talking about? You know my pa run things now? What I telling you?
Yeah.
Scrooge, listen to this. Can you hear me?
I listening. Go ahead.
Scrooge, can you hear me?
I listening to you. Go ahead,
Listen.
Sparky.
That man, to me, Uncle Albert Miller was dealing with George them while he was on the police force.
Yeah. Call I come to you next. Go
So
ahead.
when they moved him to Freeport, he became president of the Port Authority. So when Tony them say it become Millertown now, I said, well, now, hold on. I thought Freeport belonged to Sir George them. But it turned into belong to Albert Miller.
Okay.
Now, what I telling you?
Go ahead, Sparky.
What I telling you about the police force?
What it
They
is?
was working with people undercover. Long time ago. This thing about corruption on the police force ain't no new thing.
No, ain't no new thing. It just get worse.
This
That's
thing
all.
going on from way back.
Just get worse. And we allowed it
From they
to.
got rid of the British trust
Yes.
and made Bahamians in charge of the police force. As they resigned, what they normally do to them? When they resign, they make them
Ambassador.
commissioner to England, Canada,
Ambassador or something.
Japan, all
Yeah.
over the place. They resign them, get them a new job, and the government take over.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
For the rest of their life, they live good.
Yes, sir. And the payment
When
taxpayers.
people like me and you resign from our job to Batelco, and where we go?
Yes, sir.
When you resign, they give you national insurance paycheck.
Yes, sir.
You don't get no extra job. Look what happened around here in the Bahamas with big shots. When they resign, when they get old enough, they get another job after they resign.
Yes, sir.
Me and you end up going to national insurance, picking up $600 a month.
And we
They
pay the
get
pension.
another job,
Yes.
making they go in with full pension. Then they give them another job as director, as chairman, and then they getting 2 paychecks. And you remember Leslie Miller one time told but double dipping?
Yes, sir.
So they've been double dipping from then. They double dipping now. Me and you, we wait till we 50. They send us home.
Yes,
and
sir.
that's the end of you.
Thank you, man. Thanks a lot, man, Spark. Thanks a lot. He made a lot of sense. He's talking about double dip. He's talking about the corruption. It's gone deep, but we can get it right. We're going to take this next call. The caller still there? Go ahead, caller. Sorry. Good night.
Good night. How you doing?
I'm fine. Sorry for taking so long. Go ahead.
It's okay. I just want to comment on the phrase that Fred Mitchell, I think he brought up
Go ahead, ma'am.
in reference to persons, right,
Yeah, go ahead,
who's
ma'am.
exercising their democratic rights.
Right.
And I see nothing wrong with that.
Yes,
Okay?
ma'am.
What I have a problem or concern with is that instead of the prime minister going to the pastors, I feel like the pastor should have been coming to him. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I felt like they should have came out
Mm-hmm.
and forced it. Okay? They should have been the one to go after the government. And, as to see what was going on, just to put the question to the government,
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the government going to them.
Yes.
Because what's been happening for months now is, and then I just wonder if the Hammond really, if they really take in what really happened,
Yes, ma'am. It's very serious.
Persons like myself and no doubt you, who are law-abiding citizens, right?
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we have our kids who are also law-abiding citizens. We're not going to see it. If you sit back and think about other family members who are persons who live in that life, right, on the street,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
street life, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you got persons who are supposed to be the ones who are supposed to be upheld in the law, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then they're the very ones who.
I understand.
If
Go
you
ahead.
really sit back and think about
It's-
this whole thing,
It's mind-boggling, eh?
Be so comfortable, huh?
It's mind-boggling. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes, I'm serious. This wasn't no simple thing, This was something big.
And that's what people want. And everyone is saying what you're saying right now, ma'am. Everyone is
And they
saying the
just sit
same
back
thing.
And just, feel like the only
That's
time
us.
you could speak is when it's time to woke. You should have more voice than that, man. You just sit back and you just allow. I've never, ever, ever in a million years would see something like this happening.
It's
I just couldn't imagine, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because when you look at...
You never expect
I'm not
it.
trying to down the police, right? Because
We need them, but not
it's
that kind of police.
all of them. It's just these little handful,
Yes.
It's just these handful.
And they're making
when
it
you
bad
see
for the
persons
rest.
like myself, I don't have a problem with the police. They are in my family. As a matter of fact, my kids. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So when I'm speaking out like this, I'm just...
You're frustrated because you can't believe that this
Yes,
amount of
I'm just
corruption,
speaking
and then
out.
they're the ones who talking about on TV, but police is your friend, and drugs, and call us when someone get drugs, and now we're finding out they're targeting the young guys on the street. Now we're finding out that they're smuggling tons. And
That's what I'm saying. They in partnership. It's like they walking hand in hand.
they're scrying the country.
And just for something like this happen, you're supposed to step out, man.
Yes.
Person like our leaders, them.
That's
with
right.
Integrity. They're supposed to say, wait a minute, what the hell happened? You know what I mean?
Especially the church leaders like especially the church leaders like you
Clean
said
this
this.
up, huh?
And you made a perfect point. The church leaders supposed to be on fire right now
That's
speaking
what
about
I'm
these
saying,
things.
but
You're right.
They just all into themselves. You understand what I'm saying, young man?
Yes, ma'am.
Ain't like before time. The church ain't pulling in no money, from the pandemic time.
Yes.
Church ain't making it the way it used to. So instead of I'm not going to speak of the church because I'm not one who to pull down the church.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
But the building that person goes to worship in, to me, that's not the church, no how. The temple, which is you and I, Mr. Squeegee,
Yes, ma'am.
that's the temple of God, which is the church. That's what
Yes.
God coming
Yes.
for, right?
Yes, that's why.
But
Yes.
those buildings you see out there, they're no longer no church, They are just businesses, okay?
Wow.
That persons profit off of persons like you and me.
Wow.
Some of them not even working. They just profiting from us. So when you see these things, and the government too, who have most of these contracts now? You ain't doing these church pastors and stuff. You hear what Fred Mitchell said in his statement? He said he see one or two of them who bend to him looking for something. You remember him saying that? He said
Hey, you see,
he recognized. Pardon me?
No, I said, baby, people pick through the lie. You can't say the nonsense. We don't pick through the lie. I tell you, be watching every word they say.
And so he said, look at him, look at the church man. I don't know if you got to go there talking, but Prime Minister got to go, and you just been in my office asking me for something. So most of their hands is in the government pocket, and that is wrong.
Wow.
We got to speak after wrong
Yes.
and evil.
Yes.
And the church people should be leading by an example. They're supposed to be the one in the front line.
With the police and all
And
this
that is
corruption
wrong.
going on.
Pardon me?
No, my wife said with all this corruption going on, they're supposed to be one speaking on these things.
That's what I'm saying. Not the Prime Minister looking for them. They're supposed to be the one going looking for the Prime Minister.
And they say we're a Christian nation.
It's the opposite, huh? You know what I mean? They get it wrong. I was like, what the hell when I hear that?
Look like we's more Christian than them, eh?
That's what I'm
That's when
saying.
you're speaking on the matter.
You're just sitting back talking about, I can't say nothing because then they may take my contract from me. Well, what you think it is? That's where the money coming in. Oh, most of them talking, they got contract, they got this, whatever. And that is wrong. And that's why we can't hear from these people who we supposed to be hearing from. And not just the church people. These other people, and I ain't calling no name, and that is wrong. But never mind. That's all I call to say, young man.
Well,
Okay, then.
well, like I say, if you think it's just people talking like this, you had a young lady, speaking on these matters. People read between the lines, and I tell you, people want the leaders to speak up. Yeah, they talking about the lady talking about the church. You understand? I mean, honestly speaking, I expect the church to be the biggest one. They're supposed to place card and their forum, because listen, everything the Bahamian people being saying about corruption, and they have suspicions on some of the shooting incidents and the drug dealing, it's actually true. So, and the pastors them, they never was speaking up on these issues. All we was hearing, they'd speak on, the young boys them out there killing up one another. We need to let's come together. Yeah, you all say that then. But now when you have a national issue where you seeing the people who are supposed to protect and serve, we're seeing all the evidence is there, and yet still you guys remain silent. It's crazy. We're gonna take this next call. Lady, you did a wonderful job of interpreting the shadows. We call it the shadow. I also call it what I used to call it, the secret. And Mr. Davis called it waking in the shadows. You did good interpreting Mr. Fred Mitchell's comment and actually come up with your own interpretation. Don't never go from it. That's called discerning spirit. That's your discerning spirit, and a lot of us has that discerning spirit. Go ahead, caller.
Bless up, Scrooge.
Bless up, 52.
Yeah, man, give thanks. Listen, I don't care who like us or who don't like us, right? But I mean, sometimes you have to see. Let me show you one of the benefits of speaking. When you're unable to speak out, it's like you embracing tyranny, and it's like you're not alive. You are what we call a sheep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I heard the lady, she always makes sense when she called, but
Yeah.
you can't be afraid to speak out because, see, what happens is because when a deviant mind speaks out, then he's placed on a pinnacle, and he's called a reject, or he's called an outcast, or he's looked down upon because he stood out from everybody. He started saying what everybody else was saying. But me and you was crying voice in the wilderness, along with many others,
Yes.
right? Sisters and brothers, right? But what I'm saying, Scoozy, I always go, me and you could go way, way back. With
Yes.
like that's what I said. You could have a chronology or a compilation of injustices by officers. She's saying, why? I mean, people always say you're not downing the police. But we know we have decent officers, Scoozy, because we have some of them who's our friends and being family members and people. But what I'm saying is, when you denying
The
what is
truth.
before you, what is visibly before you, that makes you a fool. You see?
Yes.
And so, when we look at all of the incidents that's been occurring, even from Sonny Miller, go straight back to wherever back in the days, and then you have our status quo leaders saying they didn't have no idea and they didn't this and they didn't that. It makes one wonder or ponder, right? You
Yes.
have to wonder, Scoozy.
Yes, and we
And so-
wondering. Just
and
like
so-
how the lady picked through that with Fred Mitchell's comment. Go ahead, brother. Sorry for cutting you off.
I didn't know. I didn't remember, but I heard a comment from Mr. Munro who's saying United States have all this logistics or equipment and technology and they can't stop it. But somebody just wasted $17 million on drones, right? They got these every time they go around the 66 step. Why moving twice see the drones in the sky watching us? But you trying to tell me now the drones can't do? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I mean that's $70 million down the drain, but I mean we have waters the drone could patrol a perimeter, and they know what's doing. They only end up putting a panopticon on us, but they can't put a panopticon on themselves. But the people were crying for cameras. The people were crying for independent ballistics review,
point,
like how
yes.
with the Zaria major case. It shows just a whole trace of lies. I mean, and nothing is being done. And so, you look at how long it was going on, and then you wonder if these people were ever really serious.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at what I want you to do is, a lot of people are afraid to speak out, Scrooge. People put it all about on Facebook or an anomaly for people, property, and let's have people call in who can say they have had money stolen from them while incarcerated. Me personally, I've had items stolen from me while it's supposed to be in safe custody. These things happen. You have funds stolen when search warrants and stuff. Over the decades and years, I'm sure I'm not the only person, right?
Yes.
And so it was a lady in Nassau Village. Her grandson was in some problems, and they went to our house, and I was having a conversation with one of her sons. This was a little while, a couple of months ago, and she said money was missing too after a search. So what I'm saying is, why would you deny something that's happening that thousands of people are saying, but you don't have cameras, and they're entering people's homes without cameras? Why are they so reluctant or unwilling to wear body cams, Scoozy? That's the biggest question in the room. That's the elephant in the room. Why are they so unwilling to implement that? And they say it was too expensive. It's too expensive to commission inquiry. It's too expensive to wear cameras. So, I mean, what you get what I'm saying, Scoozy?
I understand.
The people are very dumb, and we don't have any sense, and we can't call a spade because our minds just wouldn't allow it, and we love to be enslaved, and we like to be gaslighted, and I'm still very vexed, Scoozy, at all of those who saying only a few bad apples. I'm very vexed with them.
Well, I'm going to say this 52. Few bad apples. Okay.
They think they sound good saying it.
Well, let me show you with a few bad apples. Okay. Let me show you with a few bad apples. Okay. We have 1,000 watermelon we just harvest in the farm, right?
Yeah.
So we get one bad apple right now. We get one bad watermelon. So now we get 999 good watermelon. So we take this one bad apple and we put that on the top. And let it start to decay. What do you think happened to that 999 watermelon?
Bread. But
You understand where I'm coming from? You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, but Scoozy, but that's a good analogy. But in a realistic way, if the hierarchy,
If they don't understand that,
nefarious activity, and you have subordinates, then I look at it as a chain reaction, just like more bonds in carbon.
yes,
I need not more bonds in carbon.
yes.
See what I'm saying? I just trying to paint a picture here, and people like me and you speak out, we become a problem, but yet still you're looking for a solution.
Yeah, and we telling you the solution.
Fire, bag of wire, catch the fire, give thanks, they gotta run.
Thank you very much, brother. Lady did a wonderful job. How she dissect the chairman's comment, and 52. He always on par. He was talking about the COVID-19, and I supported him through it too. And many people were up in arms against 52. Many people might be up arms over me explaining the situation concerning the inner city community when it comes to gangs, drugs, and all these topics they're talking about. But I'm experienced in all these fields. I'm experienced in the political field. I'm experienced in the trade scene. I'm experienced with the police scene because I was once myself a criminal until I changed my life around. Not that kind of criminal who's going to attack children or rape women or go rob nobody. This was a violent criminal. You understand? Or if you so you want to put it. So yeah, 52 was making some good comments there. And the lady, she let you know that we know exactly what's going on and what we're looking for from the Prime Minister and the government. And if the government of the country wants to win the next general election, which is going to be very, very difficult now. They were leading so far, but right now looking sketchy. I don't know about the Free National Movement. They're gaining some traction because right now, like I said, it had some catastrophic had to happen in order for the PLP to start losing momentum. Because I projected them to probably win the next general election, and probably after that, Chester Cooper would have been the next prime minister to come out of the country. But right now, everything is being thrown out of the scenario right now. And like I say, people say we always picking these two political parties. Like I said, I'm not telling no one to vote for no political party, as far as I'm concerned. But we do have to vote, right? But again, I support the government, right? Because I want to see the government succeed. We don't hate the Commissioner of Police. We don't hate the Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. But we as citizens know that some wrongdoings are going on in his organization. It might not be the Prime Minister. It might not be the Commissioner of Police, right? But in the Commissioner of Police instance, he trying to cheat. You understand? Because he admit that, it was embedded. Corruption is embedded in the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And then like 52 say we go way back, and Sparky said we could go way back. But now it's out of hand now because of the political interference in our country. And Prime Minister just has to address these issues. I don't know if he's going to be able to persuade the Bahamian people who are not a part of the PLP and not part of the Free National Movement. We are swing voters. We care about what is right and what the vote you vote for or the vote you in for. So you got to make us want to vote you in for something. And to do that, you're going to have to do the right thing. And the right thing is what we've been talking about on the show and what the callers have been talking about on the show tonight. They want transparency, they want honesty, and they want to see justice. You know, and like I say, this is not an attack on the Royal Bahamas Police Force, you know. This is an attack on the Institute that some of the officers used their position of power because they thought they was untouchable. They had no one there to put them in check. You understand? Because it's very much the commissioner, because the commissioner said this, you know. He said that it's hard to deal with senior officers, you know. It's hard. Because you must remember now, they try to assassinate B.K. Barnaby, Sr. Ellison Green and Slade fired about 15 to 16 officers because of disorderly behavior or corruption. And many officers who didn't like that, him being disciplined and trying to hold the force for integrity, right, and trying to get rid of the bad apples, when the election was called and his party was defeated, they sent Ellison off to be ambassador. You understand? We must remember that. Okay. Yeah. So the BMA people just want the government and the Prime Minister to do what's right. I want to say something real quick about this government, both Wally Boys group to compete. You know, for me, you know, I'm a junkanore. You know, I grew up between one family and Saxon, okay? And to tell you the truth, I was a Saxon way before I was a one family because one family was in Iran. But I'm a fan. But I just a junkanore. I live in Grandstand, I live in Haiti, but you always used to go across Mason Park to the Saxon Junkanoo group because that was the major group around that time. And then, you know, they had a little disagreement and made up the guys pull out from the Sox and started a one family group, which we started as individuals on the ground. I can remember Warry Sanders coming to us because, you know, he was a senior cop, one of the best senior cops we had on the Royal Bahamas Police Force. I see him sitting on the board, I think with a JCNP. And also Douglas Hanna was sitting on it a few years ago. I don't know if he's still there, but these are senior cops. You know, I grew up under them, and they were very respectful to me. They treated me well when I was in the station. I must say that, you know, they treated me well because I was respectful to them. Yeah, so Junkanoo, I feel that it never had to come to that, even though now it's going to see it. I believe that if you're going to break off from an individual Junkanoo group, you need to start a new name. I think that having both of them compete, one will not compete for the prize. One was not given no seed money, but yet still they're going on Bay Street. I think it's a disadvantage to the real Wally Boys. I don't know who's the real one, but whoever was going to be saying this, the Wally Boys on Bay Street, is going to be a disadvantage. It's going to benefit the Saxon and one family because you have a split within the within the Wally family. You're going to confuse most people on Bay Street because when you're gonna have here coming on Bay Street, both groups from the claiming to be the Wally Boys, and etc. One claiming to be the way forward, the next one participating. The way forward, we participate in the fun group category, but it takes away the synchronous of the individual who are now part of the way forward Wally Boys compared to the real Wally Boys. Okay, So they're both going out there, and like they say, saying that, what they saying now? Saying that the public can judge who the real Wally boys are. So, Family and Saxon are going to have a field day. So it looks like it's going to be between Saxon and one family, because we have the winningest Jonkin group in the history of the country are now split in two, and they're going to compete. Like I say, one is going to be competing for just for fun, and one will be competing for the Jonkin Parade. This year caused a serious distraction for the group, so it ain't looking good for them. Whoever made the decision has to say, they come up with that idea to have both groups go on Bay Street, and one has a fun and one has. It doesn't make no sense because it confuses us. It can confuse the tourists because we're gonna yell Wally, then you're gonna real Wally, So it's a sad day in our country, but Jonknu, like I said, will happen for the New Year and Christmas. But I'd just like to say this. Jonknu has been politicized for many years. We heard the Attorney General speak on it, Ryan Pender. And he was talking to JC PN and saying that, they would have no Jonkin Parade and etc. And then they respond back. JCPN is supposed to be an independent body. But like I say, man, we can't settle our differences. We all make ourselves look like fool because they have two groups going on saying similar name but come from the same group, but one doing it for free and one doing it for the competition. And one is trying to make the other one look bad or trying to prove a point. When you're just supposed to be one organization. If you break off, let's go and get a new name. Start your own group, And to me, I feel that Jonkin also has become a business. And we have people who go in the shark from June to December. Young guys, older guys who spend their money when they don't have the proper equipment that supposed to be donated from the head office of the Jonkin Group. I know you can't pay everyone in the group, but I see they're trying to monetize Jonkin. So if you're trying to monetize Jonkin, then you're going to have to find ways how to be creative to start paying the whole entire Jonkin Group. And there are many ways to do that because we have 9.7 million visitors come to our shores last year. This year, according to the Deputy Prime Minister, is projected to have at least close to about 10 or 11 million visitors that would visit our shores. If we were able to properly develop the Jonkin culture, means turning it into business, let the guests them come down. Saxon, for instance, let me give you a prime example. Mason Edition is the Saxon headquarters. The border separates one family from the Saxon is East Street. Both of them are in proximity to Bay Street. The guests, 90% of the guests that comes to our shores fail to come off the ship because they saying they want authentic behemoths, and we have no attractions for all these guests to come off and explore besides the forts, them, and places downtown and etc. Fish fry where they could go eat and stuff like that. If we were able to create like the shacks we have now, properly design them, show some AC in them, make them nice and neat. You don't even have to be AC, but right now, Jonkin is big business. Let's ACD shacks up. Let the taxi driver start to put the location on where these particular shacks is. Guys who in there pacing their costumes can start opening little small stores aside the road, on the side of the road. And as the tourists come through, they could have Junkanoo souvenirs in many different fashions. You also could charge the tourists to come inside the shack a little $2 or $3. So if the taxi driver bring them to the Saxon shacks, and he know like there are 4 Saxon shacks in this area, we're going to see what they're going to come with for the Christmas. So you're explaining this to the tourists. You're showing them the costume. You're going to show them, you know, if New Year's go and there's still a costume there, these guests would be quite interested to see that there's a big Junkanoo costume there. You can explain them. They could even purchase these stuff instead of us leaving these costumes on the side of the road. So there's big money in the Junkanoo business. We just can't let the leaders of the organization become millionaires from either the one family, from the Saxon, or from the Wali. And that's what this dispute is between the Wali, how I can feel. It's about sponsorship. It's about the funds that they know they can get from going out there and being a representative of the Wali boys. You know, it's big bucks, people. Don't be no fool. It's big bucks, okay? It's big bucks. But we need to trickle it down to the individual who actually makes Junkanoo happen. And that's the people who live in the inner city community and around the country. You know, no one could force none of these guys to come down Bay Street. No government. All right? No government. If it ain't for the individuals in these shacks and working from June straight to December, no one can force them. It's because of our culture. You understand? That's what the reason Junkanoo was our culture. But now it's a business. And now we could turn it into an empowerment program for those who don't have work, start their own business. Let me give you a prime example. I can remember, I think the family came second on Bay Street, 2 times back to back, and I can always remember this. My boy Boppy, he is a great entrepreneur. You know, he was a hard-won family, so he feel that, you know, he's a hard-won family. So we normally play ball on H Street Park on Sunday, and I normally guide him, you know, and he's one of the best. I was one of the best. He was one of the best players, and we would guide one another because, you know, we want a tough opponent. You know, Boppy wasn't easy and I wasn't easy, so we used to go at it. Some weeks he would shoot me up, some weeks I'd shoot him up, but the competition was great and created a great relationship. So after the family came second twice on Bay Street, you know, he was frustrated. So he said, man, they cheat, man. You know, so I getting tired of this, man. You know, we come in this group and we been fighting and putting up the best costumes. Sometimes we come fighting. All this stuff. He said, man, Scoochie, guess what? The hell with that. He said, I give up on that. Say, guess what you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to open my own costume factory. You know? That's what he said to me. He said, you know what? I'm going to use my talent. He said, I'd pace for anyone now. I don't care from family. I don't care from Saxon. I don't care whatever. And this guy right now, he's doing so good. He has a shack on the side of the one family shack. He has some of the lightest costumes. He do dances. You know, he have a team of young persons who he in there helping them learn the trade, you know, and Bopley is doing very well for himself. So that's a big step. So now instead of him just being a person who's going to shack from June to December and feel that, you know, going on basically competing is fun. But at the same time, I can make a living out of this. And now the gentleman has so much. If you go on Boppy, I'm advising people on Taylor Street, coming from the Chinese on East Street, crossing my cousin Randy Hanna restaurant, Randy Hanna building, which he rents to the Chinese. Right through the corner there, on the side of one family shack is Boppy shop. And people go in there and see how much people come bring stuff to Boppy to come pace. Now, I ain't gonna lie, Boppy might be a little millionaire now. But that's a big step from when he looked at Junkanoo from a whole different perspective. He went from being a competitor to say, what? I ain't wasting my time. I have a family. Now he's able to send his kids off to college. He's able to buy any ride he want. He has his bank account. And how he's making this? He's making this off Junkanoo. So he's not waiting for Christmas and New Year's to make money off Junkanoo. He's making money off Junkanoo year round. And Boppy has all kind of expos all over the country. Boppy's travel the world. And he's in one family, but he pays for socks and he pays for roots. He pays for me because he formed a company. So if we were to use and refurnish these, one family refurnish their shacks, the Wally, if they could get it together and refurnish their shacks, and we refurnish them, the jungle groups can play an important role in empowering people and decreasing crime and violence in this inner city community. Because most of the guys who are involved in these particular areas in Junkanoo are street guys as well. If they're given the opportunity, instead of just pacing and then wasting their own money doing it off the shoulder and competing for who is going to come first and who's going to come second, and then if you don't come first or second or third, you spend close to $2,000 on your off the shoulder or your dancer, and you ain't getting nothing back, but you're one family, you're a Saxon. But no disrespect to the late great Gus Cooper or to the living legend Willa Francis, who's a good friend of mine. They made a great living of being the leaders of these organizations, because when they get to be the leaders of these organizations, they were able to go and get sponsors. And then they get opportunities to do talent expos and go around the world, because people want to see how the world famous behave in Junction West. So you then go on flights, like 2,000, 5,000, might end up get a contract to paying with big costume for Bahama or Atlantis or somewhere around the world, like Neo shared the other day. And he used our Junkanoo music with one of his songs, and that was one of the most beautiful songs I've heard with the Junkanoo beating it. Yeah, Neo was over here, I think about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I think he was at Bahama, if I'm correct, Oden, and he had the Junkanoo guys with the cowbells and dancers and with the drum beat. And you need to see how beautiful the music did sound. And Neo did a fantastic job. I'm talking about the legendary Neo. Yeah. And our music, our Junkanoo beat, our cowbells was just made him sound so beautiful. You understand? So we just can't look at Junkanoo. Like I said, our leaders, Willa Francis, he could be a millionaire himself too, but he made that because he was able to make connection, and he had been in over 40 years, and et cetera. And he was able to help a lot of the younger generation. But we have to make it where it's going to be monetary now. We're going to have to make it now where we turn into the trade. And then we can use the 9-point-some million visitors that come to our shores to come in these inner city communities and stop to the shacks. Okay? Look at some of the souvenirs on the side of the road, because like I said again, 95% of the tourists that comes to our shore, okay? Right? They want to stay overnight. But they always leaving like around 4 or 5 o'clock every day. So we don't have no overnight customers anymore. Back in the day, we had 1 million visitors used to come over there. And that was a deal that was orchestrated by Sir Stafford Sands. And what's his name is, man? Oh, Lord. Sir Stafford Sands. And what's the guy name? Oh, famous beaming man. What's his name? Moxie. Yes, his last name was Edmund Moxie. Late great Edmund Moxie. He was able to talk to Sir Stafford Sands. Right? Listen to this, BM. This is history. I read this from the Fate that removed the mountains, written by Sir Randall. It stated that this was when the UPP was in power. Right? It stated that Mr. Moxie, right? Edmund Moxie, said to Sir Stafford Sands, who was the Minister of Tourism, who invented the tourism industry in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, so he could bring business and prosperity to the Bahamas. He went to him, and he was a part of, Edmund Moxie was a part of the BLP. He went to Sir Stafford Sands and asked Sir Stafford Sands if he would listen to some suggestion he would make. He said, you guys selling wholesale, right? He said, what if, and you have the tourists come and spend money on Bay Street and stuff like that. He said, we would like to get in the wholesale business. He said, we'd also like to see how we could get the tourists to come overnight and go in the inner city community so they could spend American dollars in the inner city community. Sir Stafford Sands was a white man, But they say he was a white man who had a heart, and he would listen. So he said, grumbled something to Edmund Moxie, and I ain't gonna do that. Why I can do that? But they say he's a man with a kind heart, and he would listen to suggestions being made to him. And they said the very next day, he called Edmund Moxie to come in his office and say, what can we do? And Edmund Moxie would say, you know what? Close down Bay Street after 5. Let us develop the inner city community with nightclubs, with small A, B, and B. We had so many A, B, and B over the hill, right? So many small hotels that gas will, when the cruise ship closed down, Sastavastan was allowing them, they signed an agreement with the tourist cruise ship industry, and then we had nightlife. And that created a lot of businesses, jobs, and we were able to send a lot of our kids off to colleges because now we have direct U.S. currency in the inner city community. We used to have 1 million visitors come over the hill. To the Cotton Fiddle, to the Capitol Theater, okay? We had all the Maria Jackson and some Muhammad Ali, come down here. And they would be in Grandstand. We had Martin Luther King came down here in the inner city community. Actually, Grandstand was Bay Street. Okay? That's history. That's why Edmund Moxie is so important to the BM culture. And he was able to create Jombe Village right down here where the National Insurance Board is, where they have the Edmund Moxie Small Business Development Center. I think it's, let me see who built it. Who built the park? It's a park there. I think, what's his name? My good friend. Oh, man. Flowers. Flowers was able to build, what you call it now? A golf course in that vicinity. And gas used to be leaving Bay Street, go way down there and bring economy in that community. So the money was trickling. The money was coming off the cruise ship closing down. But through the day, they were coming way down on horse and carriage and coming down to Jumbe Village. And we had vendors out there, and they were able to make a living. And we need to reinvent the wheel again. It's simple as that. There's nothing new we need to reinvent. It's just that we have to get back to understanding that we are not a concrete jungle, right? We're supposed to be an island first, and then we could add some concrete, means we could build some 2-story or 3-story structure, but we always need to keep our trees, and we always need to keep our village. We don't need to just have a concrete jungle like the United States of America where they don't have no trees and stuff like that. We have places where we could turn these communities into nice drop spots where we could again congregate in a peaceful manner, talk about the games, talk about the history, talk about whatever sport is going on at a particular time, and let's become a friendly people again. Because right now, like I said, we have 2 houses besides in Lutra who didn't have electricity, and the fire started off a candle. So this reflects on the conditions of our country. If you have people still using candles, and this is a repeated occurrence, then it shows you that we have not moved forward the way we're supposed to move forward. We're going to take this last call real quick. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, Scrooge.
Hey.
Calling you back.
You got to make it quick, Sparky. You
Yeah,
completely out of time.
you know the history you're saying. Scrooge, let me tell you something. In this country, the Bahamian people don't remember. From Montague Beach Hotel all the way to Life at Key, we had nightclubs all down Main Street, all over East Street, all down Blue Hill
Road,
all up
Market Street, straight to Wolf Road.
Not in Wolf Road, all up in the Foxhill.
Area.
All in the Foxhill.
Yes.
There was nightclubs going on the Banana Boat, the Lemon Tree, the Yellow Bird.
Okay. How much
all
theaters?
Hotels had nightclubs in them.
How much movie theaters we had also?
We had the Nassau Theater, you had the Savoy Theater, you had the Capitol Theater, you had the cinema, you had the Wolf Road Theater, you had the Shirley Street Theater.
Yeah.
Now what you got now?
Nothing.
Where can you go with your family in the evenings?
Nowhere.
What they call it, unless They even lie by the name. They say you're going to Arawaki. That ain't Arawaki. That's the Western Esplanade.
That is Western Espionage.
Oh, no, that's the Western Esplanade. People say they're going to Arawaki. Arawaki is the island across the road. That's the Western Esplanade where they go in.
Yes, sir.
Fish fry is the only place you got to go.
And under the bridge, which was established for the same reason.
You're scared to go on the bridge. They're shooting people to killing people there. I'm scared to go on the night to any place.
Yes, sir.
We had nightclubs. You're going to drive right to Life at Key and go to a restaurant or nightclub.
And we had American currency.
With children, you're going to go to the Nassau Beach Hotel,
Yes.
the Howard Johnson, to take your children
All right.
and them to eat ice cream and hamburgers.
Yes.
And this country, they said they were celebrating 50 years of independence. We went back 50 years. We can't go nowhere now other than Bamboo Shack in Kentucky.
Yes,
Hello?
sir. Yes, sir, you're correct. I agree with you 150%.
Kentucky and Bendy's.
Yes.
All in one places.
All right. Sparky, you did an awesome job, but I'm completely. You did an awesome job. I wish I had some more time to let you talk because you knocked some nails right on the head. That's to verify everything that we've been talking about here tonight. So I just want to thank you again, Sparky. You did a wonderful job. I just want people to know that the Bahamas, the inner city community, was actually tan. And let me tell you this: we had American currency. Listen to me. We never used to have no Bahamian money like that. I was a little boy. Listen to me, Bahamian people. The Screech used to be littered with 25 cents. The Screech was littered with coins. We never used to pick up money back in the early 80s and 90s. Listen to me. You used to find all kind of $50, $100 when people used to go in their pocket. The fisherman come to serve you fish. And when he go in his pocket, he had so much money, he had the gonks like this. And when he go in his pocket to give you change, $10, $15, $20 drop, he wouldn't even pick it up. And the streets used to be littered with 25 cents, 50 cents, dollar. People never used to pick up money. The streets used to be littered. And we have to get back to that by using our natural resources, which means our tourism industry, our junk canoe industry. All right? I want to close the show on that. And again, my condolences goes to my cousin, Keith. My cousin Kevin passed away, heart attack, and to all the community residents, thank you for all the warm welcomes that you sent to the Woodside family, and I appreciate that. So, Keith, I know I haven't been there to you yet because I know how it is right now. You know, you know, sense me talking to you and trying to say something to you when I know you lose a loved one. Let some time here and come see you, cuz, you know. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Callers, you did a wonderful job. The lady who called in, she did a wonderful job. All the callers did a wonderful job. Okay? We want our leaders to know we on to them. And if this government want to repeat, as the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas again, they better answer some serious questions. And they need to make some serious decisions. And they need to start investing on how they're going to empower the Bahamian people. Home repair, building more houses, you know, creating small businesses, developing in the community, you know, and et cetera like that, and bringing trade in the community. So I'm your host, Valentino Brown. Hope you enjoy the show inside the inner city on Guardian Radio 96.9. See you next week, of course, Spell Life. Enjoy.
Right between West and Augusta, where them two roads meet, they call it Wilkinson Street. Manners and respect was like a sign blank check. It seems the ones that coming after quick to disrespect. You see, this life in the ghetto never easy. So many hungry days.